Let me paint you guys a picture. It's 8 p.m. on a Thursday night. I have an exam the next morning, Friday at 8:30 a.m., and I haven't studied a single thing since my last exam. I go to read the assignment details. I read the assignment details 3 times, scan over them, read my textbook 4 times, and I get a tight feeling in my chest and kind of anxiety like, oh man, this is gonna be hard. And the next thing I know, I grab my phone off the desk, I go on Instagram and I'm scrolling through Reels. 2 hours have gone by, it's 10 p.m. and I haven't studied a single thing. The next thing I do is I put my phone down, I'm locked in. I end up staying up the entire night and walking into the exam running on fumes and panic. I can barely remember any of the exam questions, and long story short, I end up passing. That was most of my exam nights in college. If you're new here, my name is Bryce. Welcome to my channel. I recently graduated from the University of Florida with my economics degree, and I suffered from chronic procrastination and social media addiction throughout most of my time there, except for my last semester, in which I took business finance, which is one of the hardest classes at UF. If you know, you know. At that point, it was a little bit different from all my other classes that were hard because I had already used up all of my forgiveness. I used up all of my drops, GPA tanks, and whatever else you can name. And if I didn't pass that class, I would have failed entire college, probably had to retake college. But the last semester, I ended up getting an A in every other class and a B in business finance, which is, I'm still proud of myself to this day. Today, I'm gonna be going over the 5 biggest takeaways I have from this book, Atomic Habits, that allowed me to pass that final semester. And towards the end, I'm gonna be going over some things I'm struggling with right now, try to become a YouTuber and online coach. So stay tuned for that. So takeaway number 1 is forget goals and focus on systems. For most of my college career, I was focused on goals like get all A's this semester, lock in, get a 3.5 GPA and whatever. And I was focused on the wrong thing. Here's what I was missing. A goal doesn't tell you what to do on a random Tuesday when you don't feel like doing anything. A system does. One of my favorite quotes from here is, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. So here's what I did. For my last semester, I focused on the identity of an all-A student and what does he do on a day-to-day basis? What are his systems, right? And we'll get into identity shifts later on in the video, but for now we'll just focus on systems. So a straight A student most likely wakes up at 7 a.m., has class from like 8 to 2 p.m., studies from 3 to 6, has dinner, and then has the rest of his time off, or if he wants to, he can study more. So I took that system that straight A student would most likely have, and I applied it to my life. So for me, it looked a little bit different because I had work, I was working part-time, and I had classes Monday through Thursday. What that looked like is around 7 a.m. I'd wake up, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. I would go to class, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. I'd study, eat. I'd eat in the morning too. And then I would go to work from like 4 p.m., 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. and then go to bed at 12. So on days when I didn't have work, it would be something like wake up at 7 a.m., class at 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Once I get home at 2 p.m., I'd get ready, go to study, go to the library, study from about 3 p.m. to 6 p.m., have dinner, and then study a little bit more in my dorm. So that's basically what my days looked like. So every day wasn't perfect, but I tried my best to get that ideal day and follow the Google Calendar. And even on days when I didn't hit my ideal day, like let's say for example, I studied an hour less than what was on the Google Calendar, I still studied more than when I had not implemented this system and I had not thought at all about my ideal day. I'm applying this system right now with YouTube and coaching, and I'll show you guys the system I use, but I have weekly tasks that I need to hit every week and then daily tasks that I need to hit every day, and I have those all pretty much scheduled out of the week of when I'm gonna do them. So this is my dashboard right here. I basically live in this page, man. This is Notion, and I have all my deliverables, which are all the tasks I need to get done by next week's call. And then you can see here we have the success system, which is the power list. I'll go to today's, but This is every task I need to do on a day-to-day basis to become the person I want to be. Takeaway number 2. Every habit has 4 stages: cue, craving, response, and reward. So for me, when I was struggling with procrastination and studying, a cue would have looked like I go to study, I'm on my computer, and I'm reading the assignment details, and I get stressed out from reading it. So that would be a cue. The craving would then be a need to get rid of that stress and not feel that stress. A response to that craving would be reaching over and picking up my phone from the desk. And then the reward would be scrolling for 2 hours and having to not feel stressed and forget about my exam, basically. And so I was addicted to not feeling stress from studying. And that's a completely different problem from, oh, I don't have the willpower, I'm lazy. I wasn't lazy, I was just struggling with that habit. So what I did about that, basically, there's a library in the fraternity I was in called the Derg, and I would take all my study stuff up to the Derg and leave my phone in my room. So as I'm studying, if I'm reading the assignment details or I feel stressed and I get that cue to go on my phone's not in the room with me. So it increases the friction. If I really wanted to, respond to the cue or whatever, I have to go all the way downstairs and get my phone. And it just wasn't really worth it, especially not when you have to study and you have exams to do. I just removed that cue, and I got the cue. I want to scroll on my phone. I want to switch open another tab, which was something I really struggled with too, is like putting your mouse up and then clicking new tab and going on YouTube or something like that. Like literally clicking new tab, typing in the Y button, and then pressing enter, and it just brings me to YouTube. And I just start scrolling on my page. What I did about the new tab thing actually was I put my computer in full screen, so you can't see the press new tab button. It's only just the screen and everything you're studying. And I would switch tabs if I needed to by pressing the command, which is like command 1, command 2. On Windows, it's control 1, control 2, control 3, whatever. So that way, when I go put my mouse up to try and click a new tab, it's not even there. So I'm like, it's like a reminder, like, oh, it's not even there, I need to focus. You know what I mean? So takeaway number 3 is pretty similar to the last one, but it's design your environment to match the habits you want. I'll give you an example. I would wake up to an alarm and I would sleep with my phone next to me, like on my nightstand or on my bed. I'd wake up to the alarm, grab my phone to silence the alarm, and then I was already sitting in bed with my phone in my hand. So that's a one-way ticket, a perfect concoction to just start scrolling. It's already there, it's easy. So what I did was I changed my environment by putting my phone either outside of the room or on my desk. I charged it on my desk, so that way in the morning when the alarm goes off, I have to wake up and actually get out of bed and go to the desk. So there's a little bit more friction to me waking up and being on my phone. And there's so many ways you can do this. You can apply this to even your digital environment, which is what I did, right? I took Instagram and YouTube off of my homepage. I basically took every app that wasn't serving my purpose of, studying and trying to be productive. I took it off the homepage. That way, if I wanted to open the app, I would have to scroll down and then search for the app and do it manually. I could still have just opened the app and scrolled if I wanted to, but it wouldn't be automatic. From when I open my phone, I just see the app and click it without thinking. I have to actually think a little bit more about it and just increase the friction. Now, takeaway number 4 is to build the identity of the person you want to become. What that means is, like I was talking about earlier with the identity of an all-A student, what do they believe? What is their priorities? What do they do on a day-to-day basis, right? And you have to think about the identity of that person and then focus on doing the tasks, the habits, right, that build towards that identity. So every action you take, every habit that you do casts a vote for your identity. So let's say, for example, you want to quit smoking. If you want to quit smoking, your identity wouldn't be, oh, I'm trying to quit smoking. Your identity would be, I'm not a smoker. Every time you don't smoke, when you get the urge, you cast a vote for that identity of not being a smoker. And every time you smoke and you give into that urge, you cast the vote for the identity of being a smoker. So for me, I just thought about it. What is a straight A's student's identity? And a straight A student prioritizes their grades, they sacrifice for their grades, and they do that because they believe so highly in themselves that they don't see themselves getting B's or C's, right? They can only see themselves getting A's. And once I stepped into that identity of being a straight A student, that's when everything changed for me. Getting a C or a B or just passing was no longer an option. Now, stepping into being an online fitness coach and YouTuber, I'm actually struggling with that right now as we speak. I still have the identity of a 21-year-old student who is, partying in college, has plenty of free time and has plenty of time to relax. You go through college and you have years and you don't really have to worry about too much. But right now it's different because I'm graduated. I'm a grown man, right? I have to pay rent and all these things. I have to adopt the identity of a fitness coach and YouTuber. So a fitness coach and a YouTuber and entrepreneur wakes up and prioritizes their YouTube, their clients, and doing what they preach, basically, right? So I'm on here preaching about atomic habits. I can't really be somebody that preaches about atomic habits and then doesn't do the habits that I'm supposed to do. So I'm working on my daily tasks, like I said, doing 8 Instagram stories per day, working on these YouTube videos every single day, and practicing what I preach, especially about fitness too. I go to the gym. I have the identity of someone who's fit, but I don't exactly have the identity of an online fitness coach. Takeaway number 5 is motivation always fades. You can be motivated to start a new habit, right? You can be motivated to start going to the gym, to quit smoking, to quit X, Y, and Z. But then you can do it for a week, and then a week later, the time comes and you don't feel like doing it anymore. You're like, man, I can't go to the gym anymore. It's too tough. The biggest separator of people who are successful and people who achieve their goals is they keep promises to themselves and they do that thing even when they don't feel like it. So when the motivation fades from going to the gym, instead of just stopping, or just dialing it down, you just keep going because you made a promise to yourself. You set up your life, right? You set up the environment, you build the habits, you build the identity so that it makes it easier for you to do those things even without motivation. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm not motivated to do this at all, man. If it was up to me, I'd just wake up, lay in bed and scroll and eat. And that's what I'd be doing all day. But instead, I made a promise to myself that I wanted to become an online fitness coach. And I actually made that promise to myself months ago. And I've been procrastinating this. I'm not perfect. I'm working on it just as much as you guys would be, right? But that's the important thing, is that I'm working on it and I'm actually doing the task. I'm sitting here recording this and I might be late for work, man. I don't know, but I promised myself that I would record this today, I would script this out, and I would do it, and I'm sitting here doing it now. So that's it. That's the 5 lessons that took me from being a chronic procrastinator and social media addicted chud to being somebody that now can push past that procrastination. I did push that procrastination. I did push past that oh my God. I did push past that procrastination during my last semester in college, right? I ended up getting a B in that business finance class, like I said. And if you know anything about that, that is extremely hard. Pretty much nobody does that. I'm really proud of myself for that. And, I'm still working through a lot of these lessons. I'm still trying to build the identity, trying to build my environment to be able to do this. It's extremely difficult, but make sure you guys follow along if you want to see me do it. And follow me on Instagram at BryceGunningFit. Subscribe, comment what you're struggling with, and have a good day.